What is going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. You guys know this. Alright, so today we're gonna be checking out, apparently Project Nightfall made a video about Ferdinand Marcos' son, about saying that the Philippines chose a dictator as their president, and you guys want me to check this one out. So I'm gonna check this one out, alright? But before we get into the video, guys, you guys give me a big thumbs up right now. That helps me a lot. Subscribe if you guys are new, turn that post notification bells on, make sure it's all notifications, and yeah, let's get into this video, man.
The whole world is looking at Filipinos right now as they're about to elect a late dictator.
So this is the deleted video, okay? That's what we're checking out from Project Nightfall.
Dictator's son to be the president of the Philippines.
And know what I find? He's talking about dictator. A lot of my Filipino friends said that Marcos was not a dictator, man. He said Marcos. A lot of my Filipino friends, like the older ones, they said that under Marcos' rule, the Philippines like one of the greatest countries, man. I don't know, but let's see what Nightfall has to say.
In other countries, this is what you'll see. And from outsiders watching it unfold, this is what you'll hear.
The son of a guy who terrorized the Philippines for years is now the front runner to take over.
When he says terrifies, like, I don't understand what he means by this terrifying. Like, 'cause the thing about it, like, did Filipinos just forget? I don't think Filipino people are stupid at all. I think there will be people who remember if this really did happen. That's what I don't understand.
BONGBONG Marcos has shown virtually no remorse for what his father put the country through.
So why is it that this man is leading a presidential race by a landslide? Yes, over 30 million Filipinos voted for him, at least according to the partial unofficial tally. Is it because Filipinos see something in him that a big part of the world doesn't?
Maybe he wants to better the country. Maybe he just cares about his country and he wants to make sure his country has the best. Maybe we'll find out. Let's see.
Nightfall. This is a special video that will spotlight, not my opinion, but the voice of Filipinos for the Filipinos. And if you're watching this election unfold from a different part of the world, stick around because you might get your answer.
Look at that.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is what they said when we asked, what are your hopes and fears for the next president of the Philippines?
Why are their faces blurred out? I guess they're blurred out because they're scared for their lives. Maybe it's speaking out.
One thing is definite, as it's often in the politics, there is a strong contrast in opinions. One side is already bracing for really dark times.
It's a really dark time for the Philippines right now.
I fear that disappearance, torture, politically detained, death, and other unlawful acts against our freedom and human rights might happen again.
While the other is celebrating a bright future ahead.
And as 30 plus millions of Filipino people voted for him, I don't think we have the reasons to be afraid of because, yes, majority of us believed in him. Mabuhay ang Pilipinas.
There is no reason to be fear because our new elected president is chosen by the majority. And I hope that
and it's by a landslide. That's what I don't understand. It's by a landslide. So that tells you Filipinos believe in this guy. They believe that his father did good for the country. So it's kind of hard to like hear some stories, like negative stories about like Marcos. Like what happened? Like did like brainwash like half the Filipinos and they don't remember? Or these other half, the other half of the Filipino people who don't believe in it, is it true? Is this true? This never happened. They're just trying to propaganda. I don't know, but let's keep watching.
Administration will help all of Filipinos in call of needs and put some good plans in health, education, economy, and infrastructure.
It's almost like they're living in different realities, holding different sets of facts.
How could I trust a leader who uses disinformation networks to promote himself, fake news, and trolls? How could I support a leader
but there's so many people voting though?
Debates, never like being criticized.
There are no fears
as it is the beginning of new era, a new place for Filipino to arise from prostration and hope.
And maybe that is why Marcos Jr.'s call for unity during his campaign has resonated with a lot of people who are simply tired with the so-called toxic division.
I fear that the relationships, friendships that's been broken by the elections, we all have our differences, we all have our own principles and beliefs.
But then the critics also ask, what is the point of unity under a family name that has stolen so much from the country?
Stolen? What is this? I never seen this video before. Like these clips? What is this?
My biggest fear for this election is to have a president that is stained with corruption and built by disinformation.
I am genuinely scared to put back into position what the people back then ousted.
To which
people back then, like she said the people back then, like she doesn't, like never really lived through it then, because she's just assuming from what she heard about the Marcos family is true. For me, how I look at it, okay, I look at it like this. Like, I'm just gonna go based off President Duterte, man. I heard so much, like, read so much news about him, saying that he was like one of the worst presidents. But then when I actually went over to the Philippines and I saw how things are in the Philippines, how modern the Philippines looks, how some of my personal friends in the Philippines thought that, President Duterte, before President Duterte, people were scared to go out at night. There was so much corruption with the police officers, and after President Duterte came, he really said he was going to change the Philippines, and he changed the Philippines. I think that most Filipinos are looking for someone that is strong and someone that will do something for a majority of them and will change the Philippines for the better. That is what I feel. Even if they may say if it's true or not, I don't know. If it's true or not, I felt, and from the videos I've done at least, and from my friends that I've talked to, that Marcos was a strong leader. That's one thing everyone has to admit. He was a strong leader. He did things for the Philippines. Like, I've seen videos of how the Philippines was before, and he really did things differently. And he did what he said he was going to do. So that's what I think. All majority of the Filipinos think that Marcos Jr. will be strong. I hope he'll be strong like his father, and will do the tough things that has to be done. Someone has to be the one to do the tough things, right? And President Duterte was the one, but now his time's up, and now it's back to Marcos Jr. And let's see what happens, what he does.
Marcos supporters usually counter with two things. It is time to forgive what his family did, and that he cannot be judged through his father's sins.
Okay.
Nightfall, I realize that it doesn't look good when me, a foreigner, comments on other countries' affairs. We all know, because it's politics, there are many more complicated issues that this video has not even touched yet. Rampant fake news, disinformation, some reports of election irregularities, to name a few.
People are scamming?
But if you ask me, how I feel for the country that has become such a big part of my mission, here is what I know to be true. I know that Filipinos deserve so much from their government. I know that the poor and the underrepresented demand a public servant who truly cares about their needs in jobs, health, and education. And I know that every voter only wants best for their nation. And as I know all of this, I must tell you something that is very sad, disappointing, and difficult. I have been contacted by many people from the Philippines, and I can see how many are so afraid to even voice their opinions. That is why we have blurred the faces of the people who speak in this video, because the hate is so strong, because the division is so strong, because the trolls are so strong. Some people are even worried for their lives, simply for expressing their opinions. I have said it before and I'll say it again. The Philippines is a beautiful nation that deserves all the blessings of
the Philippines is a beautiful nation, and I do kind of understand why people are so scared, but Like I said, majority of the Filipino people want change, man. They want change, and I don't think they're stupid, man. I honestly don't think Filipino people are stupid. I think they just want change, and they want someone who's gonna make change, and that's what they want. Someone who's gonna carry on the legacy of what I feel. This is just me. What I feel that President Duterte has started. A lot of people told me he wasn't President Duterte, but I was there when Duterte was president, and I thought, wow, he did a lot. He did a lot. I felt safe. I saw some of the malls. Some of the malls in the Philippines are bigger than malls here in Canada. Some of the roads in the Philippines are much better than the roads in Canada. I just feel like if President Duterte had a little bit more time, I think he would have changed it, but a lot more. But in the short time that he did have, he really did something different. He really did make a difference in the Philippines. And all I hope for me as a foreign person visiting the Philippines is that I can feel safe in the Philippines and walk around. Being safe in the Philippines, not being look over my shoulder, not being concerned about going out at night, not being concerned about if I go out, is someone going to try to rob me or something like that. And honestly, when I was in the Philippines the last couple times, I felt safe going about anywhere. I felt safe. I just hope that Marcos Jr. does something good for the Philippines. That is all I hope.
This world. That is why only recently our Project Nightfall organization helped raise funds after the typhoon that hit the Filipinos. Over 20,000 affected people received help from it. In that moment, in these big numbers, we saw a beautiful unity, and we hope that this type of unity will prevail no matter what, so that when the next elections happen, no one is scared for their lives in expressing their opinions about the future of their country.
Right? Change is going to come, regardless of what. Clearly, change is coming to the Philippines. I feel like change is going to come regardless. And I'm just saying my opinion, okay? Because I'm not scared to show my opinion. My opinion, I think that Marcos Jr. is going to do a good job, okay? I feel like his father, even if it's true or not, I feel his father was a strong president, and he did what he had to do to change the Philippines. And I just hope that his son is just as strong as him and also a good man, and he really does do better for the Philippines. And I feel like he will do better. He will change the minds of those people who are saying, no, Marcos was a tyrant, Marcos was a dictator. I feel he will change the minds of all these Filipino people who do not believe that he's going to be a good president. I think he's going to be a good president. I think he's going to be a great president for the Philippines because I believe he's going to be strong, and I believe he's not going to want the corruption back in the Philippines, all right? And I know he's going to want for everyone to feel safe in the Philippines, all right? He's going to be tough, he's going to be strong, and he's not going to let anything go wrong or Philippines go back to what it was before, or corruption or any of that. All right? That's just my opinion. If you guys don't agree, put in the comments down below. If you guys agree, you guys feel safe, put in the comments down below. Let me know what you guys feel about this. Are you guys on the side of, yes, I'm glad that Marcos Jr. is the president, or no, I'm terrified for my life? Let me put in the comments down below. All right? Anyways, I'm out. Bye.